So good afternoon, Mom. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to have an interview with you today. And I do hope that you will answer the question sincerely and that don't be afraid about the video that will be taken today because it will not be uploaded on any type of social media platform as reflected on the letter. So in fact, I am guided with this interview by my
Professor.
Foundation and Special and Inclusive Education, Mr. Mark Bernardo. So this is not just a compliance. Personally, since we seldom talk about your profession, I want to gain tips from you about teaching profession. Because this is my dream in the near future.
Okay, I will.
Are you ready?
Of course, for you. Hope you can gain something out of this interview.
The first question is, what do you believe in the most important aspect of being a teacher?
For me, there are three most important aspects of being a teacher. Number one is the attitude of a teacher. Number two, the willingness of the teacher to share whatever is in her mind, especially with regards to the lesson. And the last one is the love to mold the young minds or the clientele, which are the students. Next question.
The next question is, how do you handle difficult behaviors in the classroom?
With regards to the difficult behavior of the students inside the classroom, teachers who is disciplined, motivated, and students must always remember the kind of discipline that was imposed by the teacher. So in handling this kind of students who are very naughty enough inside the classroom, so one way that I deal with them is to talk in private, discuss what kind of attitude they show inside the class for them to understand or else for them to change, so that next time they will be careful in doing such negative attitude wherein it is not necessary inside the classroom. So I want to deal this kind of students privately for them to understand what is right and good once they are inside the classroom. Because their role is to listen to the teacher, and as the teaching learning process goes on, there are misbehavior happen. So if in case it happened, the teacher will just call this person in private, never scold that person in front of the class. Thank you.
So very well said, Teacher Antino, kay kanang importante man gud nga in private na to istorya ng bata kay there are possibilities na mawaw sila sa iyang mga classmates, or it may result nga ma-bully ang isa ka bata. So the third question is, can you describe a lesson or activity that you have found particularly effective in engaging students?
Activities. There are lots of activities. And since we are now in Generation Z, traditional method is not a guarantee to be applied. At this time, learners need to hands-on, or the best strategy that I apply is what we call the inquiry-based. Verniel, as you go along with your studies in teaching, you will be dealing such varied strategies to be applied just to address the needs of the learners. So, for me, as I said a while ago, the inquiry-based is one of the most important strategy that can be applied to address whatever kind of learners, whether it is a passive learners or inactive learners. This kind of strategy fits all.
So the fourth question is, how do you differentiate instruction to meet the needs of diverse learners?
Differentiate instruction.
How do you differentiate instruction to meet the needs of diverse learners?
Okay. With regards to the question, the difference of instruction to meet the needs of the diverse learners, I think it needs a revision, because when we say instructions, it is something to do with the learning competencies which are needed by our students, as well as the kind of instructional materials that is used by the teacher. And with respect to the diverse learners, it refers to the varied type of learners who are kinesthetic, audiovisual. No? Since we all know that there are different learners that can be addressed in different ways. So this kind of diverse learners, I hope that you understand what is a diverse learners. Because when we say diverse, varied, they have different kind of interests as they go along or as they join the class. That is why the instructional materials must depend on the kind of the learners. Why? Because there are learners who are good in arts. Therefore, your instruction must address to those students who are good in arts. And there are also students who are good in writing, just like writing a poem, writing a story. So you must prepare also an instructional materials to address this kind of learners. And there are also students who are good in critical and reasoning power, meaning maayos sila o mga problem solvers. So you need to address also this kind of students. So with that question, I think it is something to do with the instructions that the teacher must be used just to address the diverse type of learners inside the classroom.
The fifth question is, what strategies do you use to assess student learning and measure progress?
Strategies. There are a lot of strategies that we need to use in measuring the abilities of the students with regards to the lesson. Number one, we have what we call the formative type of assessment, meaning every time the lesson ends, I will prepare questions related to my discussion. That is what we call a formative type of assessment. The second one is the performance assessment. This kind of assessment will address to the diverse type of learners in which rubrics is used just to find out whether learner is able to achieve what I want them to do. And the last one is the so-called quarterly assessment that covers from the whole quarter. And doing this kind of assessment based on the records, once the learners learn something from the whole quarter, the records shows a progress of, shall I say, scores or progress of the learner's performance related to the subject. So these are just the 3 strategies that I used if I want to evaluate the progress of my learners in a subject. That's all.
Thank you so much, Mom, for the time that you have spent in this interview. And I am impressed.
Okay.
I am honored and much gained first-hand information regarding to the teaching strategy, dealing with diverse learners, and students' learning progress.
Okay. Thank you. Hope that I will finish whatever you have started. This is not just the end, but this is just the beginning. So good luck.
Thank you.